Hi everyone, it's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and I've been using the Nexus 5X for about a month now. There's some things I really liked about the device and some that I really disliked. We'll talk about all of these. Now I was really apprehensive about the build of the device when I first saw it at Google's launch event. It seemed quite plasticky, it just didn't seem premium. And those feelings still remain. However, I did get used to it pretty quickly. It feels good to hold in your hand. The buttons on the right, both the volume rocker and power button, are quite sturdy and they do offer good feedback as well. At the bottom you will see your 3.5mm audio jack, primary microphone and the USB Type-C port, which is more of a hassle, but more on that later. At the back you will see a new camera, that's a 12.3 megapixel camera from Sony, the Nexus imprint fingerprint sensor and the bold Nexus logo. Coming to the front, you have a single speaker with an embedded notification LED, and at the top you have the main earpiece, a 5 megapixel front camera along with the proximity and light sensors. Now let's talk about the fingerprint sensor. The Nexus 5X has one of the fastest fingerprint sensors on any smartphone available right now. It works great, it's accurate more than 90% of the time and sits perfectly at the back right where your index finger would be when you hold the device. Now the display here does have decent color reproduction. It's slightly warm, the colors do appear slightly pale as well, but overall still very good color reproduction. The viewing angles are wide. Now this is a 5.2 inch 1080p panel which is plenty sharp. You won't see any pixels. Moreover, it is quite visible outside too. Now this is a 4G LTE cable device. We didn't have any issues with network reception. Call quality was also great, there was no added distortion. A lot of connectivity options here too. You have NFC, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and the whole shebang. GPS also did work quite fine. It was able to locate quickly and without any delay. Now let's talk about the camera. You have a 12.3 megapixel rear camera with infrared autofocus, LED flash, and it works brilliantly. You can quickly launch the camera app by double tapping on the power button and works every single time. But the camera software here, the Google camera app, does become bogged down after you take a few images. It even crashed on us quite a number of times. And you can see that it sometimes just gets frozen up. And this happens more often than not. And this was the only bad thing I faced with the camera. It did get bogged down pretty quickly after just taking a few images, especially in HDR mode. Apart from that, the camera actually performed very well. Quick autofocus, you can record 4K videos with it. And the front-facing camera also captures images rather quickly and there is plenty detail there. You also have HDR mode available for the front-facing camera. Now here are some of the images that we captured with the rear camera of the LG Nexus 5X. Great amount of detail, quite sharp, and the color reproduction is really accurate. You can see there is quite a lot of detail in these images. Now even under artificial light or low light, this camera performs brilliantly. You have a larger pixel size here, 1.55 micrometer, which definitely helps in that aspect. It captures more light. So there is less noise, more detail, even with low light shots. Even distant shots do turn out quite well with quite a lot of detail. So overall, I'm really impressed with the camera on the Nexus 5X. The camera software definitely needs a bit of work. It did crash a number of times on us and it has happened with other people as well whom I have spoken to. Video quality is also pretty good with this camera. 4K videos however did feel a bit soft, but at 1080p they were absolutely crisp. Now let's talk about music. You do get a headset within the box. These do fit well and they have good amount of bass and good treble control too. These do sound quite alright. Now you just have a single speaker here, unlike the Nexus 6P which has stereo speakers in the front, but it does sound well. It is quite loud and doesn't distort at full volume. 1080p, 4K videos all play flawlessly here. Now the Nexus 5X is powered by the Snapdragon 808 hexa-core processor, which is pretty powerful, but with just 2 gigs of RAM. So multitasking can be a bit choppy on this device at times. But it is running stock Android 6.0 Marshmallow, which helps in that aspect because it is quite optimized. Moreover, there is no bloat on this device, no unnecessary apps. Google has also worked on the Do Not Disturb mode or the priority mode, which was earlier present in Android 5.1 Lollipop. It works better and it seems more intuitive. Now there are a few things you can tweak with Android Marshmallow using the System UI Tuner. To enable that, you need to press the gear icon at the top. In your notification shade, it will start spinning and you'll get a notification that System UI Tuner has been activated. You can enable or disable status icons, and you can even change which all quick toggles you see in the notification shade. Now we are reviewing the 32GB variant of the Nexus 5X. I'll say skip the 16GB variant because storage is not expandable. You'll get about 23-24 odd gigs available here, and out of that 2 gigs of RAM, generally you have about 200 to 300 odd MB free when you're running apps in the background. Now with Android Marshmallow, you're also getting Google Now on tap. So just long tap on the home button and you can access more information about what you're talking. So let's say you want to look for a movie, you'll get your IMDb link, some ratings. It is a bit inconsistent, but something to look forward to, and it will definitely get better with updates just like Google Now did. Now web browsing performance, pinch to zoom all worked great on this device. Moreover, apps generally do open quick, but more often than not this device does get bogged down. I think it's the 2 gigs of RAM that hampers multitasking quite a bit. Now even in gaming, I didn't notice any major lag. There was a bit of a stutter in 1 or 2 games, but that was just about it. There's one thing though, this phone does get a bit hot with extended gaming, but not in general use. I never noticed it get hot on calls or watching videos or listening to music. Now let's talk about battery life. So in my day-to-day use, I was able to get about 2.5 to 3.5 hours of screen on time, which seems a bit less, but then again it's just a 2700 mAh battery here. But I was able to get through 1 full day of usage on most days when I didn't have to attend events or take a lot of photographs. Doze mode actually seems to be quite beneficial. There was very little battery drain on standby. Now let's get to some things I really didn't like about the Nexus 5X. First is that LG packs a USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable within the box, and it's just bewildering because you really can't transfer anything to your device without having to buy a separate adapter or a USB Type-C to USB cable separately. There's nothing bundled within the box, so as soon as you get the device you will have to get a cable. Next is that the build doesn't seem really that reassuring. It doesn't feel premium. In fact, it feels a bit cheap, especially when you are paying more than 30,000 for this device. Now that's the main issue I have with the LG Nexus 5X, its pricing. At Rs 32,000 you can also get the LG G4, and by paying a bit more you can get the Samsung Galaxy S6, both of which are better built and have better cameras too. Now the LG Nexus 5X definitely has its charm. Stock Android, a fingerprint sensor that works really well and does feel good to hold in your hand too. But I just wish that LG was a bit more thoughtful with the packaging of this device and with the build as well. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, let us in the comment section, and as always, have a great day.